Alright, we're back here to do some processing of some nettle stalks. These are wood nettle stalks, and they're my preference in this area for their abundance and for the fact that they don't really have nodes much on the whole stalk until you get to the top because of the way wood nettle grows. Stinging nettle requires a lot more meddling to get it clean and ready to go. Dogbane is a little stronger, milkweed might be stronger as well, but this is very strong stalk fiber. The first step I'm going to show you is to take your stalk, and I bust off the root end if it's still there, and then flatten the stalk going all the way up it. Sometimes you can use all your fingers together. You can even put it underfoot and gently step and crush the stalk. Don't run your hands up it or you'll get slivers. But flatten the stalk one way, turn it 90 degrees, and then flatten it down the other way, and essentially you're quartering the stalk. What you want is the skin off the outside of the stalk, the vascular bundles. You want these fiber strands, the ribbony collection of fiber strands off the outside. So you get it to quarters, and then split it in half and try to roughly separate it into halves. It won't always run very true like this is running out, but if you roughly get it into halves, then save your one half, grab one of them, and then put it white side up, the inside up, flatten it out, and then snap it and remove the stalk like you would the back of a sticker, I like to say. So this is all the brittle, breaky inner pith. So separate that off gently, leaving a nice ribbon of fiber. This is ideal. It won't always come off quite like this, but if you're careful and you don't break this up into a million pieces, you just break it up into strips or sections and get them off, you'll generally keep the fiber and get rid of the pith. If that comes out well like this, then you'll have two nice bundles. I'm going to remove a little bit of each because I don't want it to be that thick. Save those. You'll get these two nice bundles, and you'll see there's a thick and a thin end. So what I like to do is overlap the thin ends, which are the upper part of the stalk. Overlap those thin ends like that, and you get a relatively even bundle that's longer than either of them individually. And then that's where I would start, remembering to have my ends be staggered, so that the splices are staggered as we come down. That's where I would begin again to get my wrap started and begin wrapping down this long bundle. In just a second here, I'm going to switch over to something that's all ready to be spliced and also show you splicing. But what I showed you in basswood a little bit earlier is a good strong diameter. I don't know if it's probably 3/16. Maybe it's only an eighth, maybe a strong eighth of an inch diameter cord, and that's something that I like for general purpose tying of bundles or lashing things to the outside of a backpack, or gathering a whole bundle of grass and tying it up to carry it back to a campsite or something. This would be more of a utilitarian. This is stronger fiber and a smaller diameter cord like what I'm showing you here. It's actually a little thin on the one side. So grab a little bit of fiber. Good thing to take note of. If one's a little thinner than the other, you can take a little additional fiber, get it right to the end, and lay it right in there. This is kind of like splicing. Lay it right in there, wrap the two, get the two twisted together, and then just pinch and keep running your twist. So take note, this is about the diameter that I would recommend if you were going to make a long fishing line that you'd be throwing out, and then the end would be a long leader, a tapering thin, maybe milkweed because it's kind of a more translucent white fiber, but then make a long tapering end like a leader in fly fishing that would actually be less visible and go down to your bait. But this can all be kept strong and more easily handled. So I would do 30 feet maybe of this, and then a 5 or 6 foot tapered leader on the end, so that I could take it, throw it out and then have it to either feed out and down a creek or throw it out with a bobber off of a long pole, you know, a little wooden bobber on a long cane pole in a still water or a pond or yeah, some kind of a marshier area. So this would be a good fishing line. It'd also be a good snare line for rabbits. About that diameter is about what you want for snaring small game. Very strong. You could not break this. You even can't hardly break some of the smaller bits of fiber. So test it out, try it out. This is your good strong stuff. Splicing. If you get to an end of one and you know still have length on your other one like this, it's time for you to splice in more material. And to do so, I had some material ready here. To do so, you want to take kind of a comparable size bundle of fiber to what you had running. So this, with maybe a little addition, I think is about right. So I'm going to arrange a new bundle to add in. I'm going to lay that in here, but I'm going to stagger the ends just a little bit, and I'm also going to kind of comb through them and get them a little bit frayed or kind of staggered even more, so that all of our material isn't ending in the same place. It's kind of all like tapering and ending in this layering, they call that, right, in hairstyling. About this long of a stretch. That's kind of comparable to what I have here, which is my end, which is also you know, ending. All these fibers are kind of ending at different points, some of it because I arranged it that way. So to properly taper, move your teacup, your other stuff, I'll get right down here. So to properly taper, pinch where you were last working. Maybe I'll give one more twist to this. And then take your two bundles, lay them over each other like this, hold them together, and then try to kind of, ret them or kind of get them to intermesh a little bit. And while holding back here where your non-dominant hand is holding, just begin to gently twist, and without kind of pulling on that too much, twist it in with that other bundle. Some of that's coming loose back there, but I'll try to kind of coax it along. You can add these fibers in little by little as well, but the official way would be to try to overlap all those fibers and get them to just twist in carefully. It takes a little getting used to, and you see some of it's trying to fall out a little bit on me, but I can just put it back in. But if you do it right and you taper out both ends of the combined bundles, you'll get a splice. Make this look good, right? You'll get a splice. Take a little bit of that out. That looks pretty much as good as the rest of the cord. It's slightly imperfect, but pretty good. And then you can just carry on. You now have nice long fibers to work on this side. I will soon have to splice this other side. You can rearrange your fibers a little bit to keep it going. But that's a pretty decent splice. And now you keep on working until you get to the end of this one, and then add in a long fiber, and then I can run for quite a while. So that's the nature of a splice. That's what you're going to want to do to keep your cord going after you reach the end of one of your strands. And I think that should be enough to get you going on making some cordage of any length that you're desiring, and changing it up or making whatever diameter you need to as well. Alright, good luck everybody.